a 4 or 5 hour drive.
From everything I've seen, they're hoping to cut the transportation down to about half of what it would be driving.
Good Lord.
35 to 40 minutes is what they propose.
That's unbelievable.
5 hour drive down to 40 minutes.
But they're not cheap.
There may even be pods that you could just drive your freaking car into.
You know what's
and
funny?
Drive out the other end.
That would be perfect.
Yeah. You're gonna make the money back no matter what, because if you can make that kind of trip in 35 minutes, people are gonna ride it just to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
the investment in it is just
I'm not saying like
they're not
it's
gonna make
obvious.
the money back in a day.
I'm just saying I think there'd be a lot of money in it for sure.
I don't know what happened since.
Yeah, by that time, everybody's gonna have a jetpack.
A lot of my information is from like when Elon was heavy into it. It was like 2016 or something, because he proposed this back in 2013. But his idea said that it would only cost about $6 billion to do the San Francisco to LA one, which was way cheaper than the high speed rail. And he thought that they could sell $20 tickets one way.
Wow!
Obviously, that's like from San Francisco to LA.
That's madness. That's madness.
He said if they sold
about like $60 and $70 tickets going.
I'm sure it's changed now, but that was the original idea. I'm sure everything he quoted cost way more than original. But even if it's 60, dude, you could pay double a flight, and that would be worth it. You're getting there in 40 minutes, or I don't know what it is. It might have changed now. It might be an hour now. Maybe it's a little slower. But
and think about like people who are afraid to fly.
The most interesting thing I found about this, though, I thought it was a maglev train in a vacuum. It's not. So when Musk described it, he described it as a mix between a railgun and an air hockey table.
Okay.
Obviously, the railgun being the acceleration and just, but the air hockey table, you know how it has those little holes in it and it's got like a compressor and it blows air up? Kind of the same thing, except this heavy pod is going to blow air down out of it and create an air pocket.
That's a lot of force.
The tube is not vacuum because it's nearly impossible to just get a small room in vacuum, let alone this huge expansive tube.
Well,
it is low pressure though, so it's almost a vacuum or part of the way too. There's not a lot of air resistance or drag.
Well, I was curious about
which would be the biggest thing for speed, right?
Right.
Well, that's why I was kind of curious about the physics of it. Like, how slow does this thing have to take off?
So it will probably take off slow, but they did a test in 2016 at the end of the year, I think. Elon Musk with his boring company built a tube, and they put one of these in there, and so he's still like slightly involved. He owns the boring company, but I don't think he just wants to like dig the holes basically. Yeah, it's not like boring. It's boring.
Yeah, I
boring into the earth. He got
thrown for
a loop.
He
called it the Boring Company, which is hilarious.
It's a PR nightmare.
It went from
no, not a PR nightmare. What am I thinking of?
Marketing nightmare.
Marketing nightmare, probably. Yeah.
Oh, what did it do? I have it somewhere in my notes here. Oh, here it is. Yep. Test run in 2016 went 0 to 136 miles per hour in 2.2 seconds.
What?
Yep.
That's like an awesome roller coaster.
There's almost no air drag.
Awesome roller coaster. That's like a...
So not only are the pods. Oh, not only that, but he said that if you lined the system with a series of batteries and solar arrays on the top, because it's in such a sunny area, you wouldn't even need to tap into the grid to run it. It could be completely self-sustaining on the sun. And that hovering system, that makes it way cheaper because there's no electric power needed to power electromagnets. The only power they need is for the electric engines to get it going. But since there's very little drag, you need to give it very little throttle, for lack of a better term, to keep it moving. So there's low drag. I mean, it's very efficient. Like once you get moving, it's good. You just put very little energy into it. And the coolest thing I saw or I heard about it was, so you think about it, it's like this like pea pod in a tube. You're going to get air stuck in front of it, like smashing into the front of it, slowing it down. So there's this big fan that he proposed on the front. Not only does the fan allow air to come through so it doesn't like create a barrier almost, it feeds into the air hockey thing underneath.
So it converts the air coming in.
You're using that
resistance,
insane
but into
speed
propulsion.
to keep you up, or to help keep you up. So the compressor doesn't even have to run that hard.
I'm extremely happy that there are much smarter people than I am running all this stuff.
Elon's different level, man.
Okay, so just sum up. Trains today represent one of the most important ways that people and goods still travel. Big cities obviously couldn't live without fully functioning working underground metro systems because millions of people every day are transported around. And the heavy and durable industrial trains carry over 40% of the worldwide goods between towns, counties, and, for that matter, continents. Now, I have a fun fact. I don't know if any of you guys uncovered this when you were doing your reading, but back when the steam locomotives were going and they were starting to develop them, there was a lot of people. I mean, just like today, we're worried about technology and how far the advances are going to take us and the fears of the unknown. According to a cultural anthropologist who was quoted in the Wall Street Journal, she said that people were very fearful back then. Critics of early steam spewing locomotives, for example, quote, thought that women's bodies were not designed to go at 50 miles per hour and worried that female passengers' uteruses would fly out of their bodies as they were accelerated to that speed.
What?
And she added, which for the record, they did not.
Shauna, you have a car. Does anything happen to your uterus when you drive?
I don't think so.
Do you go 50 miles an hour?
Oh, no. No, I don't, ever.
Are you? Is it because you're afraid of your uterus falling out?
I'm totally afraid of my uterus just popping out. So I go 54. I'm steady 54.
Oh, man.
Don't want to hit that barrier. Or that,
right.
Don't want to break
You're
that
listening
line.
to Sammy Hagar the whole time?
Yeah.
All right, kids.
I can't drive 55.
I have a quiz for y'all. Let's see how well you did your studying.
Real quick, though. I did do a little research myself. Putting coins on the reel does nothing.
It smashes them.
You get those little things like you have in Disney World.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, because there's a
Derail.
There's a thing that
No, please.
Obviously, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it does.
That was from some father who did not want to waste his pennies.
No, right. That's
That's absolutely nothing.
myth.
That was
it
your
does
research?
something.
You're welcome, world.
It does something. It crushes the
I
coin.
should have videotaped it.
It does nothing to the train.
I was scared to do it. I was sitting there and I'm like, wait a minute, what if this does work? I am way too close to this.
I'm going to jail.
Or I'm going to die when this thing hits me.
So the top 5 countries, as far as most railroad tracks.
Today?
Miles of railroad tracks, the top 5 countries.
Today?
Today. Yesterday. Last week.
Yesterday.
I was going to go there.
Okay. Russia?
They are number 3.
Okay. That makes sense. They're big. I don't think Canada would be on there.
They're number 5,
no,
actually.
I would say Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
But so much of it is unusable.
What?
The land. So much of it. Well, so is Russia.
They have a lot of land though.
Yeah, but
And not that populated.
right. So 90% of it probably has no railroads.
Well, it's true.
Just the stuff along the U.S. border.
Quit spelling.
I feel like the U.S. is a trick.
No. The U.S. is
US
by
is
far
probably
and
one.
away number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have over double number 2. We have almost 140,000 miles of track.
So what do we have now?
China, maybe?
China's number 2.
So do we have
It's
one,
just
2?
under 70,000. Russia's number 3. Canada's number 5.
So we need number 4. India.
You're right.
Don!
I
Very
could
good.
destroy this
Dang.
quiz. I did destroy this quiz.
What country has the fastest trains right now?
Japan?
Man.
No, it's China, actually.
Oh!
Really?
Yes. They're developing trains at an unbelievable rate. Not only do they have the fastest train, it has all the fastest trains, and it's constantly adding more. The fastest train in 2017 survey, which clocked in at 283 kilometers per hour, 176 miles per hour, is no longer even in the Chinese top 10.
Oh my goodness. That's
Wow.
cooking.
How about the longest railway line in the world? You guys are going to actually have heard this name. Of course, more in a music sense.
What genre?
Christmas? I don't know.
The Polar Express?
No, it's the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Polar Express.
That's a good guess, Don.
That's got to be the longest one. I call shenanigans.
The
What about the train to Harry Potter?
Goes all the way to the North Pole, man.
The Trans-Siberian Railway is 6,000 miles. It's a 7-day journey. Which train has the longest train tunnel?
Train tunnel.
What train?
Which country has the longest train tunnel?
Russia. Gotta get all that snow off.
The UK.
No, it's in Switzerland.
Oh, that was my
It's
second
called
guess.
the Gotthard Tunnel. 35.7 miles.
Well,
My wife would
I
just
would
not
freak out.
enjoy that.
That's just a partial subway.
I wouldn't be good with that.
You wouldn't be good with that?
No.
All you got to do is show you a needle before you
I know. True.
Funk. Did I miss it? You did.
You got me there.
Okay, so a simple one followed by a very difficult one. The 4 monopoly railroads. And then I'm going to want you to name the 4 monopoly railway stations in the London edition.
Pass.
Short line was one, right?
Shoreline.
Reading.
B&O.
Pennsylvania.
Reading. Pennsylvania.
Yep. Yeah, what you've got as far as the English version, though, is the King Cross Station, the Marylebone Station, the Fenchurch Station, and the Liverpool Station.
All my second guesses.
Midnight Train to Georgia is a 1973 number 1 hit single by what group?
Can you sing it?
No. I do like it an awful lot, though.
Midnight Train to Georgia.
This sounds. I know I've heard this, obviously, but I'm not gonna sit there and try to. I don't think I can
Crosby,
do it.
Stills, and Nash.
Dude, it better not be.
No, they were the Marrakesh Express. They did not make the cut,
I was
which is
thinking,
also about a train.
About to say, because
Train
I thought
trip.
about like, no, I'm not gonna say that because it's always wrong.
Right.
why am I thinking Gladys Knight and the Pips?
You're
Is it?
correct.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Railroad engineer Johnny Gray has 2 great loves in his life: his fiancée, Annabelle Lee, and his locomotive. Name the general. Okay.
Thank you for the answer.
Oh, I'm going to have to change that. Who is the star of this classic 1926 silent movie? That wasn't going to be the question. It was going to be the general, but... Come on, Billy. I know you were watching silent movies on Sunday night.
I usually do. But
TCM.
I was gone that
Silent
day.
Sundays. Nope. We're gonna
Buster
pass.
Keaton.
Buster Keaton. Gotcha.
Now a little movie trivia.
Buster.
I got rid of cable, and the thing I'm most upset about is losing TCM.
Yeah.
Are you? That would be devastating for me. I know you can't watch a movie if it's not colored.
There's some good stuff on
Why?
there.
What? Why? Why? I mean, you're right.
Good talk. Moving on.
I have almost no patience for really really old movies.
Black and white click.
No, dude, they're great. Like, I'm like, oh, black and white movie, and then like 4 minutes later, I'm like, I'm in. I'm gonna watch this whole movie.
What movie are you talking about?
Any.
He's so full of crap.
Every time I'm like, I don't want to watch this crap. It's black and white, and then like 3 minutes later, I'm like, what happens next?
No, you.
The dialogue
no,
is so
you
good.
Don't.
Yes, I do every time.
There was some witty.
I'm not lying.
good
how,
writing.
how many black and white movies do you watch on a weekly basis?
Like when I lived with my parents and my mom would have
How
a
many
movie
movies
on.
does he watch on a weekly basis?
Okay, no.
I
hold on.
watch
So what-
Netflix
so what-
now. How
so
many black and white movies are on Netflix? My point
Probably
is,
a bunch.
When I
Honestly,
lived with my mom and she'd have a black and white movie on, I'd be like, oh.
So when you're
And then 3 minutes later, I'd be like, this is a great movie.
okay, so you're forced to watch them. Sure. If I'm forced
I
to watch
wasn't
them,
forced
I
to
will
watch them. I could go to my room and watch whatever I wanted. They sucked me in. Suck on that, Bill.
Billy's attention span doesn't last 3 minutes. There's no way it'll suck him in.
That's true.
So
You have the attention span of a dung beetle.
I just don't get it, man. If you were
Don
to fly like an
and
eagle,
Shauna?
why even go into the sea?
Billy gets
I
first
don't-
chance at this one.
I don't know. No. You didn't ask it yet.
No, I
did
didn't
you?
ask it yet. Carrying students from London's
Yeah.
King Cross Station, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
That's not the question. The Hogwarts Express, which is what you were looking for, of the Harry Potter series, is one of the most famous trains ever to grace the big screen.
Yes.
How does one gain access to the Hogwarts Express,
You
Bill?
go to station